Hello, good morning, everyone. Turn my device down. Thank you guys so much for being here. Just give me 1 second. Good morning, Four Horns Farm. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Good morning, Miss Farola. Thank you for coming in. Trying to get set up. You guys been live before. You know how it is. When you go live, you try to get everything set up, and I'm running behind today. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. I'm going to let a few more people come on in, and then we're going to get into talking about the mistakes that we make in our raised beds. And they're kind of common, and you don't really think about it until after you built the bed or put the bed together. So these might be some things that we can avoid. All right, we got 8 people in here. Thank you so much for being here. If you don't mind, Garden Queen, good morning. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Or good afternoon. It's after 12 o'clock. Normally I go, for me it's after 12. Normally I go live right at 11:30. But today I'm running super behind. I try to keep my day cleared on Monday mornings and Tuesdays, but it's just not happening for me lately. I got a full day today and a full day tomorrow, so I won't on here. I'm gonna try to do 45 minutes if I can. If not, we'll do the regular hour, but I'm gonna try to keep it to 45. Okay. All right. Common mistakes that we make in our raised bed. A lot of us are growing out of raised beds. I'm gonna stop this thing from shaking. A lot of us are growing our vegetables out of raised bed. And in the live before, we talked about the advantages of having a raised bed opposed to planting directly in the ground. It's actually a back saver. You can amend your soil better and control your soil better. So with raised beds, these are things that people like to grow in, raised beds and containers. It just makes it a whole lot easier. But with that being said, there are mistakes that can be made during that process of growing a raised bed. 50 plus, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Good afternoon. Pandy Hair Care, thank you. It's very good to see you. Good afternoon to you. Raised beds are real popular. Like I said, it saves your back. It saves. It's just more overall convenient because you can control your soil better, just for various reasons. But with that being said, there are mistakes that are made. And we're going to go over some of those mistakes today and hope that it will be helpful to you. One of the first mistakes that we do is when we build our raised beds, we build our raised beds too wide. And when I say too wide, if you're building a 8-foot long by 8-foot wide raised bed, that's really too wide for you to work comfortably in. So especially if you have it up against a fence. So what you want to do is it doesn't matter how long your raised bed is, but the width of your raised bed is very important. because you want to be able to get in there and you want to be able to work. So if you keep it at about 4 feet wide, that will be perfect, because that way you can reach over in there and you can work without stepping literally over in the raised beds, because this is one of the things we don't want to do, is compact our soil. And stepping in the raised bed is going to push down your soil. So keep in mind when you build your raised bed, make sure it's not too wide that you can't work in it comfortably. And you don't want to have to reach too hard, because then that's defeating the purpose of having a raised bed, to save your back, because you all bending over in there and trying to plant or harvest. So remember, when you plant your raised bed, don't make it too wide. Don't matter how long it is, but it does matter how wide it is. Melanie, the moderator, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here. My Backyard Science, hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. So that's one thing to think about. Shorten those beds up in terms of width, length. You could do 8 feet, you could do 6 feet, you could do 4 feet, whatever your desire is. Just make sure. Short Bus Pull Up, thank you for pulling up with the $1.99. I appreciate you. And it is good to see you this morning. We got a super chat. Thank you so much for that super chat, Short Bus. I appreciate that. Another thing is, we don't plan for irrigation. Now, a lot of us, we don't want to do drip irrigation. Some of us says, oh, it's so expensive to do all that, I just want to garden. I get that. But if that is the case, you want to make sure that you got your raised bed right at the area of... Mother Teresa, hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. You want to make sure you have your raised bed by a water source. Because I'm going to tell you, carrying those little pretty colored watering buckets is going to get old real fast. So, and you ain't going to like doing that the whole summer in 95-degree weather, or 100-degree for some of you all. Resource Garden $9.99 coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Resource Garden. I appreciate you. Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. You're awesome. You a Short Bus Pull Up coming in early this afternoon. I appreciate you. I really, really do. So you want to make sure that you got yourself near a water source with these raised beds. Now, you building them, you put them where you want to put them. So, but make sure, put them close to water, because I'm telling you, by the time you on your 3rd or 4th round, if you like me, heat is not my friend. That's probably why I don't live in the South, because I couldn't take it. At 98-degree days in Michigan, I go right to my automatic water, because I can't. It's too much. I just can't do it. So think about your water source. Oh my goodness, y'all coming in with the super chat. Four Horns Farm, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Woo, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have been a blessing to me, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you again for that super chat. There's another one. Placing your raised beds near a water source. Drip irrigation, trust me guys, it's not that expensive. If you go to Home Depot, whenever you can get in Home Depot, because here it's a line. And with that being said, go on Home Depot website. Look for Diggs drip irrigation. It's not expensive. It's about 20 bucks. 20 bucks. Wait a minute. We got a lot going on here. Hold on. I'm missing something. Just Chrissy. Hello. How are you? With the $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Just Chrissy, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, It's not that expensive. All you have to do, New Orleans Gardeners, hello, thank you for being here. Organics Best Urban Gardener, hello, thank you for being here. If you go and get this irrigation system, I think it's $19.99 for the starter kit. And it's super simple to put together. At first I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Irrigation, that just sounds complicated. It's not. It's not. Oh, I gotta hire somebody to come out. You don't. It's not that complicated. And you can design it and customize it in a way that fits you. So again, go ahead, get you a drip irrigation if that's something that you think is going to help you through the season, because a lot of you guys are in the South. Whew. And I know it's hot there, because if it gets hot here around June, July, I know by June, July, y'all smoking and slowly roasting out there. So invest in the drip irrigation. I guarantee you, if you go to Home Depot, Diggs is not that expensive. Oh my goodness. What is the day? New Orleans Gardener coming in with the super chat. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. I really appreciate these super chats. Thank you so much for that. I don't know. It's a good day, and I'm very thankful. Woke up this morning, I was a little bit sad thinking about my dad. But thank you. Okay. I said I wasn't gonna do it. You made me do it. Melanie, the moderator, coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Y'all gonna make me turn this off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you. I had a conversation this morning. I'm going to take a side step this morning with one of my brothers. And we were talking about being humble and that humble spirit. In everything I do, I try so hard to be humble and keep a humble spirit. I don't take anything for granted. Not even waking up this morning, I don't take it for granted. These super chats coming in at a flow like this. Garden Queen, thank you so much. Green Organic Love, thank you so much. I appreciate these super chats. Thank you, thank you. You guys caught me off guard. You really caught me off guard today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. My father had been on my mind this morning. He's been deceased for a while. So yeah, it's been a little rough mentally. But I thank you for the love and showing me the love. 50 plus coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, 50 plus, for dropping the super chat. I appreciate all this love that you guys are giving me. Sometimes when you're strong, that strongest person is sometimes weak. And that's okay, because we have those moments. But this morning when I woke up thinking about my dad and him not being here, he hasn't been here in a while, and my mother has passed away. Sometimes when you go through this, what we're going through, this pandemic, it causes us to have to sit still. And when we sit still, we start to think about the things that sometimes bother us, and we kind of move to keep our mind busy. But when we have to sit still and our mind is not busy, this is what happens. Um, Super chat still coming in. Short Bus pulled up again with another super chat. I don't want to miss anybody. I appreciate you guys. Trevor came in with a super chat. Miss Farola 50 plus again with the super chat, guys. I thank you. I thank you. And again, I was said that humble spirit. I try to help and encourage everyone, and I I don't know everything about gardening, but what I do know, I'm willing to share. I do truly believe in the fruits of the spirit, and I try to live my life according to that. And it's very important that we show love. And I thank you guys today for this love that you're showing me. Um, it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's a blessing. So a lot of times when you feel like people are at their strongest point, it's not always the case. It's not always the case. So thank you again, everybody that just blew my mind this morning. I did not come on expecting any of this, but I thank you, and I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted that you guys come in my live. I appreciate that as well. I have 30 people in here right now, and I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And all I want to do, my mission on YouTube is very simple. It's not to be the biggest YouTuber in the world. It's to teach people how to grow their own food, because I do believe that a lot of the ailments that we have is because of what we eat. And if we can eat what we grow, we have more control over the things that's going on in our body. I spoke with one of the brothers on here, Short Bus Pull Up. We kind of going through the same thing one day, and I'm telling him what I use, and for him to talk to his doctor and see if this will work for him. And come to find out, he was already using it, and it has worked for him. I spoke a lot with Green Organic Love, talking about juicing, and I started juicing, and that has helped. I talked to Brother Martin Brashaw about going plant-based and even slowing down eating meat until I can get completely 100% plant-based has helped. So you guys have been very encouraging and helpful to me, and I do appreciate it. Pandy, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. It's awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and I thank each and every one of you. I thank each and every one of you. I really do, for being here. So again, I'm gonna try to get back to here. I'm sorry I got emotional on you guys, but y'all didn't know what kind of boredom I was having, and that's why I was late. So your water source, the drip irrigation is not that it's not that expensive. If you go to HomeDepot.com, even if you don't want to deal with Home Depot, this is what I've noticed. If you go to HomeDepot.com and order your stuff, it'll come within a couple of days. And the shipping is not expensive. If you order over a certain amount, the shipping is free. I've actually ordered a couple of things from Home Depot, and it kept one. I ordered it one day and it came the next day. I don't know how I got here that fast, but don't be discouraged because we're going through a pandemic. Oh well, I'm going to use this as an excuse not to garden. You still can garden. You still can get into the stores. You just have to wait in a line or have to go at a certain time where you can get in there and get what you need. And irrigation is something that you might want to think about. But if you can't do the irrigation, definitely put your garden close to a water source, which is wherever your water spigot is, because I'm telling you, as cute as those little buckets is that we buy out of the stores to water our garden, once it's 98 degrees beating down on your head, you're going to take that bucket that stream the water out and just do this because you want to get out of that heat. So definitely think about your water source and the water hose if you can't get it, because I don't recommend a sprinkler. And the reason why, I see some beginning gardeners want to use sprinklers. I don't recommend a sprinkler, the oscillating one that goes back and forth like this, and I'm going to tell you why. That's going to set up fungus and powdery mildew on your leaves. So be careful with the sprinkler. They do have the kind of jet. I just don't use a sprinkler at all in my garden. It's good to be able to, if you have a water hose and a wand on it, because you want to go and you want to visit your plants on a regular to catch whatever problems or new developments might be coming on. You want to be able to share that experience. So that's one of the things for sure that you want to do. Unsafe materials. Now this one is a little controversial. And the reason why I say that, because some of us still believe that using treated wood leaches out chemicals. But in 2003, they stopped that. Those chemicals that they were putting into the treated wood, they stopped putting it in because they knew people was using this wood for other things. And you don't want those chemicals leaching out into your soil. So if you have wood that's treated that you've had years ago, beyond 2003, that's not what you want to put in your garden. But if you're going to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you get your lumber from today, that wood is supposed to be safe for your food. Because one thing, that's defeating the whole purpose. If we got chemicals and stuff leaching all out into our food, what is the point of growing our own? You might as well go to the grocery store. So remember that. Treated wood is okay. But we do have some material out there that is not safe. A lot of the, if you even don't want to go with the treated wood, then you might want to go with cedar or the redwood, which is natural. Cedar and redwood is it's really good in resisting the rot, so it should last a long time. Now, if you say, well, backyard garden, that's some expensive wood, let me sell you this. I use fence panels, the fence pickets. I have a video up where I went to Home Depot and I bought the fence pickets. Actually, it's the same pickets that I am putting up. It's cedar that I'm putting up in my garden right now. I think it's like $1 at that time, $1 something a panel. I never seen them over $3. You get you about 4 or 5 of them, cut them up, and you can build your raised beds for them. It's not that expensive, guys. And we're telling our brain right now, it's a pandemic. I can't afford to garden. It's just, I really have to be careful. This is the time that you really want to garden. Trust me. This is the time you want to grow your own food right now. So definitely think about it. Guys, we got 27 people in here, 24. If you can smash that like button if you haven't already done so, I would definitely appreciate that, along with everything else you have done. So, treated wood, it's safe now. Before, it wasn't safe, so don't be afraid. Now, backyard garden, what is the difference between treated wood? The treated wood is just, it doesn't rot as fast as untreated. It's treated for the outside exterior, the elements, to deal with the rain, so it's not breaking down as fast. So that's treated wood and untreated wood. Those are the difference. Treated wood is for exterior. Untreated wood is for interior, like when you building stuff in the house. That goes in the house. But don't put treated indoors because you have a fire or something, then stuff gonna really start coming out. Missy, hello. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Good afternoon for me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for coming in. Also, let's see. Another thing. Raised bed garden soil. Raised bed garden soil. You know how you go to Lowe's, you see this big old bag, and it says raised bed garden soil used for raised beds. That's the first thing us as beginners will grab up. Why? Because it say it on the bag. Raised bed garden soil. That's what I need. Understand this. There's nothing wrong with it, but it lacks nutrients. It does not have all the nutrients that you're going to need to get you through the season. So remember that. It's a great filler. It's an awesome filler. But remember, it does not have all the nutrients that you're going to need to get you through the season. So raised bed garden soil lacks nutrients, but it's a good filler. So you're going to have to do a soil combination to work with that. A lot of people use Miracle-Gro. I've gotten away from Miracle-Gro. When I was using Miracle-Gro, it growed my vegetables fine. But as I start to study into Miracle-Gro, what it had in it, that's what made me get away from it, because I am going toward organic gardening. So remember that. Potting soil. You go into the store, you get potting soil, you pick that potting soil up. Lead Farmer 73, hello. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Good afternoon. Make sure I didn't miss anybody else. At work, thank you for supporting. I appreciate that. That potting soil, when you go into Home Depot and Lowe's and you see that potting soil, you go to pick that thing up and that back start cracking. You don't really want that for two reasons. One, it's too heavy, and if it's heavy in the bag, it's going to be heavy in the garden bed. Get the potting mix. The potting mix has perlite in it, and it's also have all the nutrients that you need, and it's light. And guess what? When you get in there, you pick it up. You can toss it in your car. If y'all watched Martine's video the other day, yesterday that they put up, he was picking them bags up, throwing them like they was light. Them bags was not light. Pick the bag up. You can throw it in your car, and you can take it to your garden. It's already light. It's aerated. It's fluffy. It's waiting to drain. It's good on draining. Potting soil is not good on draining. Well, why do they sell it? They sell it because the potting soil is also something that you use as a combination. So when you get a little bit down into the gardening, as a combination, you will start to use the potting soil, and you will make your own mix with the perlite and lighten it up. So if you want to get the potting soil, you can, but you're going to have to pick up some perlite to kind of loosen it up a little bit. How to Garden, how are you? I'm so glad you came, How to Garden. I didn't even bring it in here, but I got to show you what that mulberry plant is doing that you sent me. It's showing out. It looks really, really good. Okay, so remember, the garden bed mix that you buy at Home Depot does have, it lacks nutrients, so you're gonna have to put some in there. Compost. A lot of people go and grab compost. The compost that we buy at Home Depot, some of the compost is it's not even compost anymore. There's no live microorganism in it or any of that. The nutrients has depleted, so at that point it has become humus. So when you buy your compost, you want to make sure that you get a good brand, and then even if you get a good brand, it depends on how long that compost has been sitting there to tell if that compost is good or not. So the best way is to try to make your own. But as a beginning gardener, I understand I don't want to confuse you and get you too worked up about it. But there also are places. Now I don't know if you have it here where you live, but I have it here where I live, that you could go and get fresh compost from different yards, garden yards and stuff that sell compost. So look into that too. Let's see, what is another mistake? We talked about the soil. We talked about the unsafe materials. Let's see. I told y'all I'm a senior citizen. So I have to have my notes. Beds too close together. I want four beds. 1, 2, 3, 4. If they're too close together, you got to keep in mind, I got to walk through here. I need to walk through here comfortably. The way that I separate my beds is all my beds is about 24 inches apart. Why 24? Because that's how wide my lawnmower deck is. And I can get through there and I can cut in between my raised beds. I can get my wheelbarrow in there. I can get my garden cart in there. Make sure you make room for those things as well. Your garden cart, your wheelbarrow, and you can get it in between there and you will be perfect right there. So keep those things in mind. You don't want to be frustrated stepping over stuff, or you can't get stuff where it needs to be to load your beds up. That's the number one thing that keeps us from not gardening, is because we become frustrated. So make sure you separate those beds so you can get your cart and everything you need in there and work comfortably and not just so crammed up on each other. All right. Another garden mistake is weeds and grass in the pathway. Now, as much as we talk about mulching our beds to keep the moisture, retain the moisture in the bed, sometimes we need to mulch outside the beds as well to suppress the weeds. If you do, you want to get a landscape fabric. Now, this is what I learned about landscape fabric. We're talking about the walkways now, the pathways. It's just not worth it to buy the cheap ones that we see at Home Depot, because after a while, you're going to start seeing grass pop up, or you're going to start seeing weeds come in between your bed. That's frustrating as well, because it's like you got to keep on top of that. I want to use my energy if I got to do some weeding in the bed, not outside the bed. So make sure that you either put a really heavy mulch down, or you put some nice landscape fabric and a mulch, a light mulch on top of it, just to make it look good. But it also serves a purpose. It's just not for beautification. It serves a purpose. Because Alabama, y'all got some snakes. I don't know. Florida, y'all got some snakes. We got some too, but they garden snakes. I don't think we got nothing that's gonna hurt us, but I ain't seen none, because I would be gardening right now. But it's important to keep those pathways clear, because you don't want to welcome in rodents, and they like to hide in tall grass. And it's a turn off for gardening. For me, it is. To go out in the garden and see all of these tall grass, that's a turn off. So, where you don't have to worry about that, do it right the first time. Get that couple of grades up of that landscape fabric and use that. Let's see. Shawana, hello. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the landscape fabric is very important to use, and something to put down, whether you use the rocks or you use the mulch or whatever. Now, I use the mulch because it's inexpensive. And I just want to keep the weeds. And I also didn't use this year I used landscape fabric. One year I used cardboard. The cardboard worked pretty well, but after a while the cardboard breaks down. Which is what it's supposed to do. And it really makes your soil looks really good. So it's up to you. But remember, you want your pathways to be clear. So put some thought into what are you going to do to keep the weed and the grass out your pathway. And if you are using your grass, that's fine too. Make sure your beds is wide enough so you can get your lawnmower through there and cut, because you don't want to go through there with shears or weed whackers to do the whole entire bed. All right. Last but not least, not mulching your raised beds. I can't stress it enough on this part of mulching those raised beds. If you are in the south or even here in the north, when it gets in the 90s, those beds dry out. You want to be able to, or even if it gets down in the 50s, that mulch helps regulate the temperatures in your raised bed or your containers. The mulch helps keep that bed warm at a certain temperature where it doesn't drop as fast as it would as if it was unmulched. That's one of the things that mulch help. Miss Green Thumb, hello. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you and welcome. So you want to keep that in mind. That's very important, that mulch. Also, the mulch also helps with weeds as well. You don't want to sit there. I know you probably looked on a lot of people channel, and they'll show you their bed after the season, and it's filled up with grass. I can take you outside. One of my beds on one side has filled up with some grass. I got to pull that out, which is not going to be hard, but the whole point is I don't want to have to do that. So mulching actually helps that. You want to put your plant in, then put your mulch around it to keep that moisture in. So keep that in mind, because your plants grow through the soil, not the mulch. So if you're using wood chips in a thick amount, you got to dig those wood chips back until you get down to that soil. Then put your plant in the soil, because it needs to be able to get to those nutrients. Okay, I am looking in the chat. And that's what I got. The perfect mulch would be wood chips. That's the perfect mulch for me is wood chips. Why is it perfect? Because it's inexpensive. It's very much available. Other people has used other things as mulch. So wood chips just works good for me. And it keeps down the weed pressure pretty good. And if you do get weeds to come up, and you have wood chips, and any gardener in here will tell you when you go to pull that weed out, it comes out so easily, because basically it's just hovering around that wood chip. It's not even really way down in there like that. So those are my tips for everybody that's starting a garden, a raised bed garden. These are some common mistakes that we make. If you're doing raised bed gardening, you don't necessarily have to use brand new wood from Home Depot or whatever. If you have some old wood, long as it's before 2003, after 2003, I mean, your treated wood is good. Before 2003, that's that wood that got the chemicals in it. I have seen a lot of people who have used logs, where they had a tree cut down and they just made a border with logs. It's basically making a border to hold your soil. So if you got logs laying around your yard, you can use that. If you have bricks, you can use that. Center blocks, you can use that. Whatever you can to hold in that soil to make a raised bed. And I've seen some beautiful beautiful raised beds out here. James Prezzioni, he just built the raised beds out of pallets, and it wasn't your common video that everybody do, take the pallet apart. No, the way he set this raised bed up was just beautiful, and he put a oil on it to kind of preserve the woods, because you know pallets is a real cheap wood, and he put this oil on it to reserve the woods that was not harmful to a person, because I think it was like some type of seed oil. I can't remember off the top of my head, but just Google how to DIY raised beds, and it'll show you how to make one. Again, logs work good. Whatever look that you're going for, the whole point is to get out there and garden. And the point of making it beautiful is because that's going to keep you out there. It's going to make you feel good. Thank everybody for coming in. Everyone that dropped a super chat. Linseed oil. Yes, that is it. Thank you so much, Laird Farmer, for saying that. Linseed oil. That was the name of the oil. And he just brushed it on there, and it will preserve his wood for him. So definitely, if you want to do your raised bed, these are your ideas. These are the things to keep in mind. Because I don't want you to get discouraged midway through the season and say, this is too much work. Now, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. Gardening is work. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. It's physical. But it's a good physical. It's mental as well. And it's a good mental. If you having a stressful day, if somebody that made you mad or something, and then when you're worried about something, get out in the garden. By the time you get through pulling them weeds, by the time you get through planting and seeing the accomplishment, it evens things out a little bit for you. So it is physical, but it's a good physical. If you have mobility issues, then that's how you want to kind of create your garden around your mobility issues. I just don't like. I do raised bed because I don't like. Well, for two reasons. One is because my soil was tainted, and two, I don't like bending all the way over like that, digging in the ground. So raised beds work a little bit better for me because I can control my soil and contain my soil. So, any questions? I'm glad to see everyone in here. I appreciate you guys being here. Also, as far as the wood chips, you can order those. It's tree cutting season. You see one of those guys, them big trucks riding down the street, sometimes you can flag them down, but know this, when they bring you wood chips, they bringing you wood chips. Everything on that truck. And also remember, if you just have a small garden, you might not want to flag a truck down because your driveway will be filled up for the rest of the season with wood chips. Because they're gonna drop it wherever they can that's convenient for you. But if you're starting a big garden, you can get those wood chips for free. Sometimes you can go to the yards and get them yourself. You got to pick up. They'll load your pickup up. You can ride off and bring them back to your garden. I don't recommend the bag wood chips that we get out of Home Depot. You know, the $5 for $10 that they sell us to go in your raised beds. I do, however, like the ones that are to put them outside the raised beds as far as my pathway. I do use those because I have black in my garden. And under that, I put the landscape fabric. And I think this year I'm going to be pretty good. I don't see any weeds germinating from it, so that's pretty good. So I'd like to thank all 34 of you all that's in here right now. I thank everybody for the super chats. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You made my day. I thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with me, because you don't have to be here. You could be anywhere. You could be in anybody's live or watching somebody's video, but you chose to be here, and I really appreciate that. I don't take any of this for granted. All I want to do is teach gardening and learn more about it. So thanks everyone for coming. Get out there and grow something. Miss Green Thumb got a tomato challenge going on over on her channel. I wasn't able to enter that because I got so much going on. Y'all, the food forest is in the house right now. If this weather don't get better, look, I had to move that one in. That's just the beginning of many. The kitchen, I wouldn't dare take y'all in my kitchen. It's so many fig plants, mulberry plants in that kitchen. It's time to get out in the garden. I'm going to need that weather to change. Over on this side, I got a few of my starts inside my grow tent. It's even more. It's crazy in the house. My son, he wakes up and he just look around like, what is she doing? So I'm ready for our weather to get a little better here, so I can move this stuff outside. This year I will be downsizing my fig collection. This year, I say it every year, and it never happens because somebody will send me some cuttings off this Facebook forum that I'm in and be like, try these. That's how I wind up getting all those Leticia cuttings, and they always give me enough to share, and I wind up having more figs. But I'm trying to downsize my fig collection. I am. This one here was in my grow. This one here was in my grow tent, and if you see how thick the stems are. Now, guys, what I tell you about cutting, pinching your plant back, if you have a fig cutting that is not producing figs or fig plant, what you need to do is pinch it. Pinch that top growth off so it'll stop growing, and I guarantee you those figs will start to pop out very quickly. So look up pinching your figs. Happy gardening, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.